I always believed that true danger doesn't announce itself with thunder or lightning. Sometimes, it enters your home wearing perfume, smiling politely, and calling you mom. My name is Margaret Lewis, a 62-year-old retired school principal who has spent her entire life valuing honesty, education, and quiet dignity. After my husband passed 5 years ago, I built my life around two things: my garden and my only son, Daniel. And then, of course, there was Tanya. My daughter-in-law. A woman so stunning and perfectly put together that she looked like she came straight out of a glossy magazine spread, hair flawless, heels sharp, lips always painted in expensive shades of red. She spoke softly, smiled sweetly, and yet somehow, whenever she entered a room, the air shifted. Tanya wasn't unkind, not openly. But there was a practiced politeness in everything she did, an artificial sweetness that felt like a knife wrapped in velvet. And lately, something had changed. She had become almost too sweet to me. Mom, she chirped one morning, placing a cup of tea beside me. You should rest more, let me handle the bills and paperwork. You deserve a break. She smiled as if it were a kindness. But the way her eyes flicked toward my checkbook on the counter told a different story. I brushed it off at first. Grief makes you suspicious sometimes, and maybe I was reading too much into things. But the feeling didn't fade. In fact, it grew stronger with each passing day. The way she offered to help organize my financial drawers. The way she always asked, "Do you remember paying this bill, Mom? You sure?" The way she kept insisting that I was forgetting things lately. Little comments, little pokes, little seeds. And Daniel, he was blinded by love. "Tanya's just trying to help, Mom," he'd say. Let her. I tried to listen to him. But every instinct in my body, every bit of intuition earned from decades of dealing with teenagers who lied about cheating, told me something was off. Very off. Then, one Thursday afternoon, I entered my bedroom to fold laundry and stopped short. There, on my nightstand, was Tanya's phone. Not face down. Not forgotten in a rush. No. Placed neatly. Deliberately, like bait, the screen lit up with a vibration. 5 messages. All from unknown numbers. All marked urgent. Before I could even move, another message popped up. "Did you get the account info?" My heart thudded once. Hard. Why was her phone here? Why was she getting messages like that, and why was she suddenly so desperate to get involved in my finances? A cold wave ran through me. Just then, Tanya appeared at the door, her smile oddly bright and stiff. "Oh, there it is," she said quickly. "Mom, could you do me a huge favor and take it to the repair shop? The screen's glitching again. Please, it's really important." Important? Yes, I could tell. I picked up the phone, a knot forming in my stomach. Something was wrong, very wrong. But I wouldn't understand how wrong until the repair man looked at me hours later with fear in his eyes. I held Tanya's phone in my hands the way someone might hold a sleeping snake, carefully, cautiously, afraid of what might happen if it suddenly woke up. "Thank you so much, Mom," Tanya said. Her smile stretched to tight. "To rehearsed, the repair shop on Oak Street knows me. Just tell them it's mine." She pivoted away quickly, almost as if relieved to see the phone out of her possession, or relieved to get it into mine. Either way, her heels clicked fast across the hallway, her perfume lingering like a warning. I put the phone in my handbag, locked my door, and headed out. The sky was gray, the kind of dull afternoon where you feel the world whispering that something is about to happen. When I arrived at the small repair shop, a young technician with tired eyes and a patient smile greeted me. "Hi, ma'am. How can I help you today?" I handed over the phone. "It's my daughter-in-law's." She said. "The screen is glitching." He nodded and began examining it. At first, everything felt normal, but then, his brows slowly pulled together. His shoulders stiffened. He tapped the screen twice, then 3 times. Then held it close to his face like he wasn't sure what he was seeing. Is something wrong?" I asked gently. He swallowed, glanced at me, then back at the phone. "Ma'am, how long has this phone been acting strange?" The question sent a chill through me. I'm not sure." I said. "Why?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he motioned for me to follow him to the back counter, away from the other customers. His face had drained of color. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to look at something." He angled the phone so I could see the screen, one by one. Message previews slid down. "Need her banking details ASAP. We can't proceed until you send the full login. Tell me when she's alone. Use the memory loss angle." I felt my breath leave me in a single sharp exhale. These weren't messages for Tanya's phone company. They were instructions. The technician tapped again, and a hidden folder opened, one that wasn't visible to a normal user. Inside were screenshots. Dozens of them. My checkbook. My bank statements. My credit card numbers. Even a photo of the key to my safe deposit box. My knees weakened. Why are these here? I whispered. The technician's voice dropped low, barely above a whisper. Ma'am, this phone wasn't glitching. He looked me dead in the eyes. It was hiding things. Another folder appeared, this one containing voice memos. The technician hesitated. Do you want to hear one? My heart pounded in my chest like a fist. Yes, I forced out. He tapped the first recording. Tanya's voice floated out, low and sharp. Look. Stop rushing me. I almost got her to sign the form today. She's stubborn for her age, but don't worry. I'll get those numbers soon. Another voice, a man, responded. You better. The account transfer needs to happen this month. I felt dizzy. My ears rang. My body went cold from the inside out. The technician quickly locked the phone, his hands trembling slightly. Ma'am, he whispered, leaning closer. You need to protect yourself. Immediately, my throat tightened. What are you saying? He inhaled, steadying himself, then delivered the words that would shatter my world. Cancel your cards and run. Whoever owns this phone is targeting you. The room spun for a moment before I grabbed the edge of the counter to steady myself. I had walked into this repair shop expecting a broken screen. Instead, I had just uncovered the first layer of a betrayal deeper than anything I ever imagined. I stood there in the repair shop, the cold tile floor suddenly feeling miles beneath my feet. The technician, this stranger, looked at me with genuine concern. The kind you can't fake, Mum. He said gently. Please sit, but I couldn't. My legs were stiff, my hands trembling, my heart pounding like a drum against my ribs. Targeting me. My own daughter. Law. No, this had to be a misunderstanding. A terrible one. Are you sure? I whispered, my voice barely audible. He turned the phone back on, unlocking the hidden partition again with a method only a technician would know. These files were intentionally concealed. Whoever did this knew how to hide digital footprints. Then he swiped into another folder, this one labeled ML Finances, my initials. Inside was a list of dates, dozens of them, each linked to photos, screenshots, or recordings. Photos of my mail opened before I ever touched it, a close-up of my driver's license, screenshot of my online banking dashboard, a saved draft of an email request to at my password, and then a scanned document that made my blood run cold. It was a power of attorney form, half-filled. My name already typed in. My signature line empty. The technician looked at me, hesitant. Ma'am, whoever this is, they're preparing something very serious. I swallowed hard, feeling the air thicken around me. But my daughter-in-law Tanya, she's sweet. She's helpful. She calls me Mom. The words felt pathetic as they left my mouth. He watched me with a softness that only made the moment worse. I'm sorry, he murmured. But what I'm seeing here doesn't look like kindness. He clicked into the chat app again and opened a thread between Tanya and the unknown man. Tanya, she's already forgetting things. It'll be easy to convince him. Man, we need full access. When can you get the last password? Tanya, soon. Once you trust me enough. My stomach twisted. I remembered the comments. You should let me handle your bills. Mom, you're getting forgetful. Maybe you shouldn't stress with finances at your age. All sweetly said. All with a concerned smile. But now, they all looked like pieces of a plan. The technician spoke again, voice firm now. Ma'am, I don't want to scare you, but I need to be direct. Whoever owns this phone was preparing to take over your accounts and possibly more. I felt my breath catch. More? What more could there be? He opened one final folder labeled Next Steps. Inside were notes typed by Tanya. Convince Daniel she's confused. Get her to sign POA. Transfer property after signature. Close her credit cards. Move funds to joint account. But the last line nearly brought me to my knees. After that, she won't be our problem. I covered my mouth, choking on a sound I didn't recognize, somewhere between a gasp and a sob. The technician quickly pushed a stool toward me. Please, sit. You're not safe if this continues. My knees buckled onto the seat. The repair shop suddenly felt too bright, every light too sharp. Every sound amplified. I felt exposed, vulnerable, like someone had peeled back the walls of my life and revealed a darkness I never dared to imagine. I trusted her. I whispered, I know. He said softly, people who do this, they always play the part well. What do I do? The words trembled out of me. He took a deep breath first. Freeze your credit cards, contact your bank, change every password you own, and don't go home until you've protected yourself. I stared at him, my heartbeat thundering loudly in my ears. And then what? I asked. He paused, then looked me dead in the eyes with a seriousness that made my skin crawl. Then you prepare. He said quietly, because this person isn't just stealing from you. She's trying to erase you. The words hung in the air like a blade. And I knew nothing in my life would ever be the same after today. The walk home from the repair shop didn't feel like a walk at all, it felt like crossing a battlefield. Every step heavy with the knowledge that danger wasn't outside my home, it was inside it. When I reached my front door, my fingers froze on the doorknob. For the first time since I moved into this house 32 years ago, I hesitated to go inside. I wasn't coming home to family. I was walking into a lie wearing heels and perfume. When I finally stepped in, the house was quiet to quiet. Then I heard it, Tanya's voice, soft, controlled, sweetness dripping from every syllable like syrup covering poison. "Oh, Daniel, you won't believe it," she said from the living room. "Your mother lost my phone again. She's been so forgetful these days. I'm genuinely worried for her." Forgetful, there it was again, a slow burn lit in my chest. I stepped into the doorway, watching Tanya lounging on the sofa, twirling her hair as she spoke on speakerphone. She didn't notice me. "Honestly, babe," she continued, "we should think about getting her some help. Maybe take over her finances before she does something irreversible." A thin, cold smile curved her lips as she stared at the wall, imagining her future victory. My bank accounts, my assets, my home. All wrapped into her fake concern. I clenched my jaw. The real Tanya was standing right in front of me now, calculating, manipulative, and utterly confident that she'd already won. She finally saw me and quickly ended the call. "Oh, Mom," she chirped, plastering on her sugary smile. "Did you get the phone fixed?" I placed it gently on the sofa arm beside her. "Yes," I said quietly. "I did." Her eyes flickered barely, but I caught it. She hadn't expected me to return this calmly. She picked up the phone, suddenly cautious. "Strange, it looks fine," she said. "Did the technician say anything?" I held her gaze. Nothing I didn't already know. Her expression froze for half a second, so fast and untrained I might have missed it. But I didn't miss it, and she knew I didn't. That night, Tanya was restless. I heard her pacing outside my door, whispering on the phone. Her voice sharp and frantic. She took it. She saw something. I don't know how much. "No, she's acting weird. I'll handle it. Just give me time." Handle it. Those words stabbed through me. Sleep didn't come easily, but clarity did. I needed to protect myself quietly, quickly, and without raising suspicion. The next morning, before the sun rose, I began searching through the house. Not snooping, surviving. I opened drawers, checked cabinets, flipped through stacks of mail. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, until I found it. In the hall cabinet, behind a stack of old magazines, was a folder with Tanya's handwriting on it. Inside were printed emails, drafts she'd never sent, notes, plans, sketches of financial transfers, reminders. And then, the document that confirmed every one of my fears, a power of attorney form fully filled out, except for my signature. My heart hammered in my chest. The signature line was marked with a yellow sticky note, "Sign here to finalize health management." Health management. That's what she planned to tell me. She wasn't just taking my money. She wanted control of my life. My decisions. My future. I closed the folder, my hands shaking. And at that moment, like a scene designed by fate, I heard footsteps behind me. Tanya stood there, arms crossed. Her face no longer pretending sweetness. "Looking for something?" she asked, her voice low and icy. I clutched the folder behind my back. "No," I replied steadily, "just organizing." She stepped closer, too close, her eyes dark, cold. Assessing ran over my face. "You seem confused lately," she said softly. "Maybe you should let me handle things. For your own good." I held her gaze, refusing to flinch. "I know exactly what I'm doing," I said. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "We'll see about that." She turned and walked away, her heels echoing like a countdown, and as she disappeared down the hallway, her phone buzzed again, this time loudly enough for me to hear the preview. When as she's signing, the walls around me felt tighter. This wasn't just betrayal. It was war. The next few days felt like walking on a tightrope suspended over a pit of vipers. Every word Tanya spoke, every smile she flashed, carried the weight of deception. She was pretending again, helpful, caring. Perfect, but her eyes betrayed her. Cold, calculating, dangerous. I knew I had to act, but quietly. If I made even the smallest mistake, she could strike first. I began by contacting my bank. One call after another, freezing my accounts. Changing passwords, setting alerts. Every notification I received made my pulse jump. Even Daniel noticed my sudden wariness. "Mom, what's going on?" he asked, concerned but also frustrated. "You've been acting paranoid." "I'm just being careful, Daniel," I said, my voice firm. That's all. I couldn't tell him the truth, not yet. Tanya had poisoned his trust, and I had to protect both of them. That evening, Tanya arrived home earlier than usual. She glided into the living room with that practiced smile. Handbag swinging from her arm. "Mom," she said, voice dripping sweetness. "I've been worried about you. You're so tense lately. Don't you want me to help you relax?" I clenched my jaw. I didn't answer. Instead, I waited, watched her. Every movement, every inflection was a story she didn't want me to read, but I was learning to decipher it. She perched on the sofa, crossing her legs, tilting her head as she observed me. "You know," she said lightly, "Daniel mentioned you were reorganizing your finances. Are you hiding something from us?" Her question was deliberate, a trap. I stayed calm, just staying organized. I replied evenly, "You should try it sometime." Her smile twitched. The mask almost cracked. Then she leaned forward, lowering her voice. "I worry about you, Mom. Sometimes I think you might forget things. Little things, very important things." She was testing me, planting seeds, whispering doubt, trying to make me feel small. I realized I had to confront her, but carefully, without exposing my hand too soon. "Funny," I said, voice steady. "I was thinking about trust, about how important it is in families. Don't you agree?" Her eyes flickered. "Just a fraction, enough." Double quotes. "Yes," she said slowly, hiding her reaction. "Trust, it's everything." The night grew tense. The air in the room seemed heavier. Every tick of the clock counting down to the inevitable confrontation. I decided to press further. "Tanya," I said softly, "sometimes trust is tested. Sometimes people take advantage of others. Don't you think?" Her smile hardened. "People like who?" she asked, voice almost a hiss. "Now, people who pretend to care," I replied quietly, holding her gaze. "People who want what's not theirs." For a moment, the room was silent. You could hear a pin drop. I saw the faintest shadow cross her face, a hint of panic. Then, as if nothing had happened, Tanya stood abruptly. "Well, I'm going to freshen up," she said, trying to regain composure. But she didn't leave gracefully. She stormed past me, her heels clicking sharply, her perfume sharp in the air. Later that night, I received an anonymous email. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside were screenshots, videos, and chats, proof of Tanya's plotting, her schemes, her affair with the man helping her steal my finances. I sat in stunned silence, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. This wasn't just a battle over money anymore. This was a fight for survival, for justice, for my dignity. I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Tanya had underestimated me, and I was ready to fight back. The house was tense the next morning, suffused with a silence so heavy it felt suffocating. Every creak of the floorboard, every tick of the clock, seemed amplified, as if the walls themselves were bracing for what was about to happen. I had spent the night organizing all the evidence, the repairman's findings, the screenshots from Tanya's phone, and the shocking anonymous email exposing her secret affair and financial plotting. It was a damning collection of proof, and it was all going to be laid bare. I called Daniel into the study. My son, my only child, entered, oblivious to the storm gathering in the room. He smiled, tired from work, unaware that the woman he adored had been weaving a web of deceit behind his back. "Mom, what's going on?" he asked, sensing my unusual seriousness. The morning after the confrontation, the house felt like a battlefield, tense, silent, every shadow hiding unspoken words. Tanya moved through it cautiously now, her usual arrogance replaced with careful calculation. Every glance she threw my way was loaded with a mixture of fear and defiance. I wasn't afraid anymore. The evidence I had gathered, the repairman's findings, the emails, the voice recordings, the hidden messages, all formed a damning case. Tanya's schemes were fully exposed, and justice was within reach. I had already contacted my lawyer, a sharp woman named Catherine, who had a reputation for handling family disputes with precision and zero tolerance for deception. By late morning, she arrived, briefcase in hand, ready to take the next steps. "Tanya," Catherine began, her tone formal and unyielding, "you've been reported for attempted financial fraud, identity theft, and manipulation of legal documents. We have full evidence. You are now facing serious legal consequences." Tanya's face went pale, the mask slipping entirely this time. She opened her mouth, but no words came. Daniel, still stunned by the revelations, stepped forward. "Mom, I can't believe it. All this time, I didn't see it. I trusted her. But now, thank you for protecting me, protecting us." I took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. "Daniel, you were blinded by love." She was playing a role. And we were both in her shadow. But now the truth is clear. Tanya tried to defend herself. "You don't understand. I was just trying to steal from your own family." I interrupted sharply, "Trying to betray the people who trusted you." "No, Tanya. That isn't trying, it's criminal." Her panic was now undeniable. She glanced at the phone, the documents, the folder, all evidence she couldn't erase. Catherine leaned closer, her voice a dagger of authority. "You are legally restrained from accessing any of Mrs. Lewis' accounts or property. Any attempt to contact her or her son without permission will be considered harassment and prosecuted immediately. You are also being served notice of the legal proceedings for your financial crimes." Tanya's face crumpled. The first time I had ever seen her unmasked. The arrogance, the slyness. The practiced charm, it was gone, replaced with pure fear. I finally spoke, my voice calm but firm. "Tanya, you underestimated me. You underestimated the people who care about justice, and now, the consequences are yours to face." Daniel shook his head. Conflicted emotions written across his face. "I loved you," he said quietly, looking at Tanya, "but love doesn't excuse betrayal." The room was silent for a long moment. Tanya, defeated and powerless, sank into the chair. The air was thick with finality, the weight of truth settling over everyone. For the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of victory, not in cruelty, not in revenge, but in justice finally being served. I looked at my son, at Catherine, and even at Tanya, who could no longer hide behind lies. The realization hit me like a wave. Sometimes justice isn't instantaneous. It isn't easy, it doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. But when it comes, it is undeniable. Tanya had lost her control, her schemes, her power over us. And though the road ahead would involve courts, lawyers, and legal battles, the first and hardest step had been taken. For the first time, I could breathe. The danger had passed, the threat removed, and my dignity reclaimed. And in that quiet victory, I allowed myself a small, satisfying thought. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger, it's truth, exposed in its full, undeniable glory. The final blow had been dealt, and the house, my home, was finally mine again. "Sit," I said calmly, though my heart pounded in my chest. I placed the folder on the desk between us. Its contents spilled over like a confession written in cold, calculated detail. Daniel's eyes widened as he recognized Tanya's handwriting on some of the documents. "Mom, what is this?" he asked, voice shaking slightly. "Daniel," I began, holding his gaze firmly. "This is everything you need to know about Tanya's intentions. The phone, the emails, the hidden messages, it's all here. She's been planning to take over my finances, manipulate you against me, and even forge legal documents to gain control of our home and assets." His face paled. I don't believe it. Tanya would never." I opened the phone and played a few audio recordings. Tanya's voice, sharp and cold, filled the room. "She's stubborn, but soon she'll sign. Then her money, her home, all ours." Daniel froze, his eyes darting between me and the phone. That's her," he whispered, disbelief and horror mingling in his tone. "Yes," I said, "and there's more." I showed him screenshots of Tanya messaging the man she was conspiring with, plans to transfer funds, manipulate legal documents, even control every aspect of my life. Daniel sank into the chair, his face buried in his hands. I had no idea. I trusted her. I should have listened." "Daniel," I said softly, reaching for his hand. "You did what you thought was right, but now you know the truth. And now we can stop her." Just then, Tanya walked into the study, her posture stiff, her smile forced. "What's going on here?" she asked, though the tension in the room betrayed her. I stood, meeting her gaze without fear. "What's going on, Tanya? You tell me, Or should I? Her eyes narrowed. Mom, you don't understand. I was just what? I interrupted. Just planning to steal from your own mother-in-law? Just manipulating your husband against me? Just plotting to take over her life and assets? Her forced composure cracked, a flicker of panic in her eyes. That's not, you can't prove. I calmly placed the folder and phone on the desk. Everything here is proof. The repairman warned me, and I took every precaution. Your schemes are exposed. Daniel stood, rage and betrayal in his voice. Tanya, how could you? I trusted you. You lied to me every step of the way. Tanya faltered, searching for words, but none came. She realized too late that the house she tried to conquer was now a courtroom of truth and she was the defendant. I felt a mixture of relief and empowerment. For years, I had tried to keep the peace, to protect my son, and to believe in the goodness of others, but now justice had a voice, and it was mine. As Tanya sank into the sofa, defeated, the enormity of her betrayal clear, I knew the battle wasn't entirely over, but the war had shifted. I had reclaimed control, and the truth had finally surfaced. The air in the room was electric with tension, but for the first time, I felt a spark of hope. The next steps would involve the law, and this time, Tanya wouldn't have the upper hand. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe because the secret was out, and no deception could undo it. The days that followed were calm, almost surreal. As the storm of betrayal finally began to settle, Tanya was no longer moving freely in our home. Legal notices had been served, her access to our finances revoked, and her manipulations exposed for everyone to see. The arrogance and false charm that once filled the house had vanished. Leaving only silence, I walked through my home with a sense of quiet triumph, the weight of weeks of fear and anxiety slowly lifting. My son, Daniel, was by my side more than ever, his guilt over having been deceived tempered by gratitude for the truth being revealed in time. Mom, he said one evening, his voice tinged with awe and relief, I can't believe I didn't see it sooner. You saved me, saved us. I smiled gently, placing a hand on his shoulder. Daniel, you weren't blind, you were in love. That's natural, but love doesn't erase deceit. And it doesn't protect us from those who hide behind it. What matters is that we act when the truth is clear. With Tanya gone and the house secure, I allowed myself to reflect on how close I had come to losing everything, my finances, my independence. Even my dignity had been at risk, but it was a combination of instinct, caution, and the honesty of a stranger, the repairman, that saved me. I realized then that trust is precious, but so is vigilance. I had learned to listen to my instincts, to question behavior that felt off, and to act decisively when something threatened the life I had built. Daniel and I worked together to reinforce our home, both literally and metaphorically. Passwords were strengthened, accounts monitored, and our relationship repaired with open conversations, honesty, and understanding. As for Tanya, the legal process was underway. She faced consequences for her actions, her schemes unraveling faster than she had ever imagined. She had underestimated a mother who refused to be deceived, a woman whose years of experience and careful observation had given her the strength to fight back. Sitting in my favorite armchair, sipping tea and watching the sunset over my garden, I felt a wave of peace I hadn't known in months. The house was quiet, safe, and full of love again. Sitting in my favorite armchair, sipping tea and watching the sunset over my garden, I felt a wave of peace I hadn't known in months. The house was quiet, safe, and full of love again. I reflected on the lessons learned. Trust your instincts, protect what is yours, and never allow manipulation to go unchallenged. Justice may take time, but it always finds its way, and sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't anger or retaliation, it's the calm, unwavering triumph of truth. I closed my eyes, letting the warmth of the evening wash over me. Life would go on, but now stronger, wiser, and fully in control.